when I was in China, one thing that I noticed that I found really hopeful is that there is an increasingly large number of people who have learned to do electronics in China, and that's their day job. But when they go home, they're beginning to design really interesting, at the moment, frequently incredibly impractical, but built out of love, audio components that are becoming unique and probably point to a time when the intellectual property coming out of the electronics design there is going to be at a much higher level of art than it is today.
You know, I think there's an obligation amongst people who enjoy the privileged position of a real, deep, and sophisticated understanding of modern technology to be innovative. I think the world, listen, you know, there's nobody who's going to be able to build, you know, there's a lot of countries who build socks better than shoes or, you know, commodity products. And the truth is that these kind of products are, in some regard, essentially commodity type items, a fairly straightforward thing, being a headphone amplifier. And I think it's one can take up the opportunity to be innovative and gain through that. And so I don't think it's enough to be doing copycat stuff. I think it's very, very important that we use our imaginations, because we're privileged to have the types of skills and tools and whatnot to be able to use that imagination. So we started building speaker stands.
Well, I've worn some headphones that were heavy enough that there should be headphone stands.
There's a headphone stand attached to the speaker stand. That was the one time, man, I was dug hard, man. They don't want to call us not a headphone company. You know, I don't want to lose the love of these people. You know, what the hell am I going to do about that? I want some speakers on my desktop. I'll make a headphone stand on the side of the speaker and I'll be in.
Out of all the products I've seen at this show, that and the Sennheiser headphone clamp were the two things that I went, wow, I want that.
Yeah, I can't wait to get a mold made in China so I can punch those things out of the bucket piece. It costs too much money for me to do it.
Well, I think that it might be time to turn the questions over to the audience. So, let's go for one final question, which is, who here would have thought 3 years ago that products like the Sennheiser 650, the AKG 701, the Grado RS1 would reach the current level of popularity that they have, given that people thought that most headphones that cost more than $20 at that time were extravagant. Do you see that as a possibility of increasingly higher levels of headphone technology, or do you see that as an acknowledgement of what you guys have achieved in headphone amplification?
Both.
Okay.
You know, you can see it 3 years ago just start this, you know, the rise as more and more people started getting into this. I mean, we saw something that was basically, you know, people buying amplifiers at $400 or $500, thinking that was expensive, along with headphones, and maybe it's inflation. I don't know. But you take a look at the trend, more and more people are getting into it. Head-fi has grown immensely in these 3 years. And it's just going to continue.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought in Silicon Valley we could have gotten the kind of turnout we did today?
Remember the first meeting at the Grado Labs? We had 20 people. Jim calling me in. When we talk, so-and-so.
I think part of the willingness to buy expensive headphones comes from the fact that it used to be if you bought more than a $69 portable CD player, you were insane. And you know, if you told somebody, Denon, stop building the DCP 150, a freaking excellent excellent portable CD player, totally excellent. But they stopped building it because nobody was willing to pay $400 or $500 for a source. But, so I think there's a ratio of source cost and willingness to buy headphones. If you buy a $69 portable CD player, you're not going to spend $400 on a pair of headphones. But if you got a $700 iPhone or whatever the heck it's going to cost, you're willing to shell out a significant portion of that for a pair of headphones. And in this regard, I do think that the iPod changed the balance because it made people more willing to buy expensive headphones.
It's the iPod crowd that's so,
Yeah.
if not anything else.
Okay, who's got a question?
You know, for everything that's posted, you know, maybe 100 people read it. You know, and I'm just curious if people have a sense. I mean, you sell to a lot of other people besides directly Head-Fi related, and how do you see that greater audiophile headphone community?
I guess the question to you guys is, how many strangers are you selling to?
I'm going to chime in with a real quick one. We estimate about 5% of our sales are to people in the Head-Fi community, and I'm probably the real lone flyer here, but only 5% of our sales. The rest of it is audiophiles and people who see us on the internet.
Is that headphones or just amplifiers? I mean, that's everything.
I don't know. We couldn't identify that. Certainly the vast majority of the amplifiers themselves, but it would be mostly from the stereophile and audiophile community, not from the side.
Justin, do you?
I'm probably on the high end of that. It's probably somewhere between 80 and 90% of my sales come from people on Head-Fi. And even the occasional person who might tell me that they found my site on Google or something like that, they always seem to be familiar with Head-Fi anyway, even if they're not a member.
You type in headphone, you find headphone.
I think this community, though, drives the opinion that exists in the larger world in a way that is more influential than any other single news outlet by an order of magnitude at least. This community represents the single most influential body when it comes to what the people in the world think of a pair of headphones. I guarantee you this community makes or breaks a headphone that costs more than $100.
Well, wasn't it Zig Ziglar, the salesman, who said that there's, the rule of 50, that everybody knows 50 people who attend their funeral, everybody knows 50 people they'll complain to, everybody knows 50 people they'll lavish praise to if they get something they're satisfied with. So in that sense, if you multiply Head-Fi by 50,
And by the information age.
yeah,